Welcome to the General's Gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Company Furious 2. Here we are, in our home, where we belong.
It's a comfortable place, Machine. It's comfortable being here.
Especially in Colony.
Yeah, it's not like going to some like friend's house or something. You haven't been there before. You have to like sleep in a bed that you're not used to. It's just not a fun time. We enjoy being on Colony, as clearly do our players. Cruzz will be our man as the USF.
And the OKW will be Sotjador. Sotjador. Yeah, that'll do.
Like, I may or may not have intentionally introduced Cruzz.
I know. I was thinking about doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got that in the end. So we have Cruzz. I do love the whole tank trap improvised cover. You normally see the barbed wire in front of it, but if you put it behind the strat point, then you can't use it against you. So where it is,
you won't get models in there.
You won't, no, you won't.
You might get them to the side of it, fighting against the wall, but yeah, it's very hard to path around those strat points with infantry.
There's nowhere to really hold this point here. You have the heavy cover, but it's on the side. It won't prevent someone coming in from the road direction, and likewise, this is only then the light cover, especially since it's in the point, so the point won't be decaptured while you're in behind that heavy cover.
Yeah, which is really important. The closer cover is to a strat point, so you can move to a position and stall it, is actually really important when it comes to trading these engagements. So looking towards our openers here, it's pretty standard. Early Kublap, Sotjador. It works on Kolodny. You often have very kind of one-dimensional capping directions. You're only like capping plans. You only really go, like, I'm going to go on the right-hand side, I'm going to cap this block of points, I'm going to cap this block of points, and therefore it gives you the ability to have a capping unit like a Kubel, or your starting squads, i.e. Echelon, Pioneers, Combat Engineers, to run around and cap the other side. Generally, you're looking for engagements in set positions, depending on your capping order.
Yeah, and you generally want to be trying to capture safe points with your Kubel or your Engineers, your weak squad. And in the case of the Kubel, it actually captures faster than a regular unit. So if you can capture points such as the fuel points or the munition points that take much longer to cap than strat points, then you'll be capping them even quicker by using the Kubel wagon relative to a regular squad.
Certainly right there, Machine, certainly right. So fuel control, incredibly important. Both of our players realizing that for sure. Still a very light vehicle orientated game is Company Furious 2. Early fuel leads really are crucial. So Cruzz is looking to try and cut off, and Sotjador's looking to decap fuel points. Both of them work out.
Yeah, this has been a very aggressive game in terms of capping, but not so much in terms of combat. There's been decaptures on both of our players' cutoffs, and the northern fuel. I think it's connected though. Yeah, it is. So this is the only point required to connect the fuel and the munitions point. At the south, it's the same as well, as the cutoff is all that's required. So Cruzz is going for his mortar, and bear in mind that this is the nerfed mortar. Well, nerfed again because it was nerfed twice before it was actually balanced. So it won't be game-breakingly broken. I played a little bit with it. It seems well balanced enough for the most part, but I'm not too sure. We'll have to just see a bit more of an action. I don't exactly have a large sample size to make a confident balance claim on the state of this mortar.
And really is what it ends up being, is we are casting this game just after the patch has been released. It is all about sample size. The more games we see, the more consistent results that we get coming out from the mortar. But it is a mortar-oriented map. We very generally see mortars on Kolodny, Burma playing around that middle area, mainly due to the garrisons and the important points that are within range of the center.
That scatter. No way would the old mortar scatter like that.
No.
The old mortar would scatter maybe to here.
Dude, no. The old mortar wouldn't scatter. The old mortar would come to here, and then the shell would see the Volsk grenadiers and be like, right. And jump on top of them.
Get the killing blow.
Yeah.
The heat-seeking
mortar, exactly.
And on that note as well, we actually were looking quite forward to casting the TPI 3 finals, but unfortunately because the patch was released, it meant that the replays no longer work, so we couldn't actually cast them. So we do have a few replays that look like they should be pretty interesting matches, but unfortunately won't quite be as epic as the grand final of a tournament with well-known players. And if you want to see those games, you can check them out on Tightrope casted them, obviously because he ran the tournament and streamed it. I think also AE casted them, so there were at least other casters that covered them, so it's not like those replays went uncasted.
They certainly will be covered, which is a good thing. We would hate to see you missing out on great games of Company of Heroes.
Oh, this is actually a pretty bad retreat path. 2 squads of Volks should be fine. Volks aren't amazing at wiping things on retreat.
No.
Bit more durable than something like Grenadiers in exchange for having a bit less damage overall.
Certainly is. So, Sotjador now having access to those Insignia grenades. Oh, that's actually a really nice flank.
Well, is it though?
Ah!
It would have been a nice.
So RNG. Oh yeah, that was the US mortar because of course friendly damage slightly reduced. So that was such an RNG engagement. It's like who's gonna drop models in the.
Yeah, I wasn't keeping a tab on the Stun Pioneer reload, but I really didn't do much damage there. A lot of times that happens is when your close combat infantry they blow their entire magazine charging, and then by the time they get up close and point blank where they would ignore cover, they then start reloading, and then you just have to retreat. Yeah. But that definitely could have swung either way. It wasn't a squad wipe for either of our players though, but it was a good idea by Sotjador. Yeah. When you know that your opponent is obviously going to back away from that building, then having the other door surrounded can result in a wipe. Certainly
can, and yeah, both squads coming very close to getting wiped. So it's always the retreat chicken as well. It's like if you had retreated, if you had folded and retreated when there were still 2 Stun Pioneers, there's every chance the Stun Pioneers could have chased you down and wiped the squad. So you kind of have to stick around and take the engagement. But yeah,
yeah. Whoever retreats first loses out because then you get chased on the retreat. It's not too bad in Company of Heroes 2, but in Dawn of War 2, where you have melee and melee does extra damage against retreat, and you have two squads melee units, it's even more brutal. LT could go down here.
Certainly a possibility. He went for a nade. Yeah,
that's why he delayed the retreat. Okay. Doesn't have an ambo though. I would generally recommend getting an ambo before nades.
Ambo's gonna be...
he lost it.
Yeah, Scott ended up going down there, but it was actually a really, really heavy kind of, I guess, early combat build, you could say, from both of our players in terms of that 4 squads of Volks as opposed to the usual 3 is pretty much a standard, and Cruzz had 3 squads of riflemen plus the lieutenant as well, which is also one squad more than you generally see.
And a mortar and a 50 cal, and Sotjador having the Kubel and the Raketen too. So both of our players not really rushing out those light vehicles apart from the Kubel, which I don't even consider it. It's not a really light vehicle. It's a capping vehicle. It runs around capping points and is annoying. It doesn't really have an impact in terms of actually manpower bleed and chasing things down and killing them, and only in rare cases. And so let's see what Cruzz goes for. Does he go for the captain tech? He has the M10s as an option to go armored company, get some call-ins. And actually the Shumai was placed there. I'm not sure if that was revealed or not. Probably not by the looks of it.
I would say not. And it could cost a couple of these rifleman models from the squads.
But overall, that there isn't the good call-in that you want to see from US. There's no Pershing, there's no Calliope. So looks like Cruzz is probably going to have to go for his major and then get a Sherman out, because you can't go tier 2, tier 3 and then go mechanized or then go airborne, because then where's your late game at? You're going to have the late game of having the major, but then it's going to be so delayed that you can just get pushed off the map by a Panzer IV, and how do you come back from that?
Despite what has seemed to be really even engagements thus far, Sotjador really has a huge fuel lead here. Cruzz hasn't had his fuel point connected, and Sotjador has had the fuel point connected. In fact, at some periods of this game, he's had 2 fuel points connected, so he actually has a massive lead here relative to Cruzz, who I think is taking captain right now.
So we actually have weapon racks as well from Cruzz. Oh, this Raketen could get stolen here, but the Volks are in front of it. Yeah, it's a little bit too aggressive there. Can't really steal that one away. And the suppression comes through, so we do actually have an MG34, but it was forced to retreat. And we have double bars on these Echelon.
Really forcing off these Volks, as well as preventing the truck from going down here, Machine. This is not a situation in which you throw that.
Gotta be careful that the truck doesn't get naded by a squad of riflemen. That one in the house though isn't quite vet, or actually almost is vet 1 now, over the course of this engagement. So he could definitely get the nade off here. And 50 cal though might get wiped by the Volks. Well, actually now he might get wiped in turn by the bars on the echelon.
Probably will be going down here, Machine. Supply truck trying to cover, but it's not going to be enough.
He loses it. And we could see this truck get naded too, but probably not just because there are squads nearby. But that was a really weird engagement.
It's odd. Yeah, I don't know. I think the supply truck was a negative there. It actually blocked off part of the Volks retreat. Pretty sure the squad would have ended up being wiped anyway from the riflemen inside the house. And I'm not sure what exactly the nade damage is onto those supply trucks
I think it's
at
about
the
half.
moment. But yeah, it was close to being worth nading that and potentially losing a rifleman squad just for the delay, if nothing else there. Could have been nice.
And in the end, the shoe mine wasn't actually cleared. The echelon were clearing that, but then they stopped and went for the engagement. So it is still there, and that means that perhaps Cruzz will forget about it. Maybe he thought he cleared it, but actually didn't. Other than that, and...
Oh, Cruzz actually rebuilt the lieutenant.
Well, it's pretty cheap, actually. I think it's... Where is it? And it comes with a
Check the
bar,
manpower
too.
cost.
300.
Yeah.
A rifleman squad's 280, so
Yeah.
you're paying 20 manpower for a bar, and for, I think it's a Thompson as well.
Yeah, but I mean, I would be looking at it and saying, could I afford to go lieutenant at this stage in the game? Do I want another combat effective squad? Will this be more manpower bleed? He's obviously going to need an AT gun out ASAP. He's so far behind in fuel. The Panzer headquarters just finishes as well. I'm guessing Sotjador will be heading towards a Panzer IV, would be the most intelligent choice.
Yeah, absolutely. With so much rifleman on the field. Oh, he has a captain as well. Oh,
Yeah,
excellent. Here we go. Has a
yeah,
captain.
The captain
Yes.
was done, yeah, a while ago, just before that engagement.
And I wonder if he had double bazookas, because he may have got one from the weapon racks. That's what my favorite thing to do is when you get the captain, you get the upgrade for one bazooka, then you might as well get 2 of them. Because having one bazooka really won't do much on its own, but then having 2, then you can start to actually have an impact with it. As the Panzer headquarters doesn't hit a single shot there, that shack is kind of in the way.
Kind of not, I'd say, Machine. I actually think, say, it was more intelligently placed, because the main gun can still fire along that route, along the road. The main gun still fires in that direction, however, the shack blocks off AT gun shots from the central VP, and it also covers the cutoff to the fuel, so it's actually quite intelligent. Panzer headquarters placement. That's just one bazooka on that squad of riflemen.
Yeah, so you got the bazooka on the rifleman. Personally, I tend to prefer to give the bazookas to the echelon, but I can certainly see why you do it with the rifleman, because then you get the AT grenade on the same squad that has a bazooka. So it means that you can actually get a snare on a Panzer IV from only the rifleman. Nade will come through as well. That's kind of the problem with going both nades and weapon racks is every nade that you throw is going to be removing the amount of bars and bazookas that you can actually get. So I think what you see most players do is get the weapon racks and then get nades late game once they're pretty much already capped out on all of the upgrades. Or you see them get the nades really early if they want to get some ways to deal with MGs.
For the moment, Cruzz's unit choice is working out here, Machine. He has the majority of the map control just because he can be everywhere. There are so many squads of infantry, 3 squads of riflemen, the lieutenant, even the captain certainly benefits in the Vet 3 squad of rear echelon with bars is still a pretty brutal combat unit, though not the same veterancy achievements that made rear echelon bars as crazy as they used to be.
Wow, this mortar is actually taking this Panzer headquarters down to half health. Also with the echelon, they changed a couple of things. Now it's Vet 3 gives you the extra model. It used to be Vet 2, I think. Yeah, it's Vet 3 that gives you the extra model. It used to be Vet 2 before. And also the fact that echelon got buff but cost more to reinforce. So it means that they're less strong as bar carriers. They're still obviously great, but before they were just ridiculous with mass bars or mass LMGs. He's not repairing this. Well, now he's repairing it with the Sturm Pioneers, but Sotjador is really focusing the north of the map and just leaving this mortar in the middle and just letting it take this Panzer headquarters down. Doesn't have the repair kit either, so he won't be repairing it at full speed.
Yeah. Man, Cruzz's timing is so baller here. His knowledge of kind of how much fuel Sotjador has is off the chain. He's like, do I need a ticket? No, not yet. I think I'll go major tech. Like it's fine, dude. Don't even worry about it. My opponent can just about get a P4, but not quite.
He has enough bars of bazookas that even if a P4 shows up, it won't be the end of the world. It'll definitely force him off, but he won't lose his cutoff. You know, if you put 2 bazookas in a house somewhere, the Panzer IV can't really drive past. I think it's also important to note that there's no way that this playstyle would work against Wehrmacht because the scout car early on would do a lot of bleed. The Panzer IV and the Ostwind even comes out much quicker than what the OKW Panzer IV comes out, the equivalent of that. So you get really punished for going mass infantry and lacking in AT or lacking in light vehicles. Whereas against OKW, because of how delayed the Panzer IV is, then it's a little bit more safe to do this kind of playstyle where you have no vehicles. Unless they obviously go for the mechanized truck, but Cruzz realized he obviously hasn't, and if he did, he would have changed this build a little bit, maybe have gone a quicker AT gun or a Steward or something.
Yeah, certainly could have been a different machine. Something else we haven't mentioned yet, really late STGs coming in here for Sotjador, and that's one of the reasons he's not trading very well against these barred up riflemen, barred up bedded riflemen, and the reason for that is lots of nades. Sotjador has had the OKW imperative to throw incendiary grenades due to the lack of flamers, so has been clearing out garrisons 24/7 and therefore hasn't really had the munitions to invest into those STGs.
Yeah, there's no ISG. Wow, Sotjador going for a squad of Obers when he can actually afford a Panzer IV. Maybe he wants to go for a Panther. I think that's probably his reasoning is that there's definitely going to be a Sherman coming up quite soon because Cruzz hasn't spent any of his fuel on vehicles. So perhaps he wants to have the hard counter by going for a Panther.
Yeah.
I would personally go for a Panzer IV just because there's so much infantry and you can get some significant manpower bleed with that. Unless he gets the Panzer IV delayed, but I mean that's the only really reason why I can see him going Obers instead.
Oh, we'll see if Cruzz cancels this. He goes Jackson because I'm not sure, I'm assuming he saw the Obers come out. But this is a 50-50 kind of thing. You would have seen the Panzer headquarters building, but did he or did he not see the Obers spawn out of the corner of that Panzer headquarters?
Well, he's seen them now anyway.
Okay, he has seen the Obers now, so he might change this into a Sherman instead, or alternatively predicts the Panther and says, okay, I have enough anti-infantry here, I do want the Jackson.
Yeah, I don't like this map for the Jackson though. I think it's just so hard to path. There's so many choke points and there's so many shot blockers. It's really hard for the Jackson to get any work done and really have an impact. And so easy to lose it. I would probably just go mass bazookas. When you have this many squads of infantry and your opponent's gonna go for a Panther, just go mass bazookas and maybe go the Sherman for anti-infantry, or even if you want to get fancy, go for the howitzer carriage. Well, even the bulldozer. Bulldozer is so strong. It's often underlooked just because Pershing's better, but it's actually very, very strong. Oh, drops a bar.
Yeah, that's gonna be nice. Should be able to.
Oh, but you can't get it with STGs
Not with
though.
STGs, no.
Yeah. So it has to get...
even the students grab it though. Like,
well,
fine.
the Obers even, there's actually a lot of
Obers would be
options.
great, yeah.
And I can't quite remember if you can get the upgrade for STGs after having a weapon unlocked. After having a weapon stolen. Gonna be pushing around the Obers, but nade comes through. Hasn't been amazing grenade dodges so far from Cruzz. And is he getting any upgrades? He's not getting the LMG just yet. Can't actually afford the LMG. Oh, and he gets Fausted.
Damage on the Jackson here, machine.
Oh, loses the rifle squad with the bazooka. Man, that's not good.
Yeah, Raken's going to be trying to chase this Jackson down. I don't think it'll get the last shot. It doesn't look like it. The Raken's actually going to have to back away here. However, the Jackson will need to be repaired. Couldn't find any damage onto the Panzer headquarters to stop tank production from Sotjador, which was probably the dream.
What can be really nice to do when you're playing with a light vehicle on the right side is if you just run over and just crush this wall, because that's the second time where that retreat path has been a very bad situation for the US player. It wasn't a wipe in the early game, but it certainly could have been. It was a wipe then, so just crushing that wall can really help you out. Nade off on the Vox. He is retreated, though. And a Panzer IV is being built, a very late Panzer IV.
Wow.
And there's already the Jackson on the field, so...
This would be understandable if Sotjador was unable to hold a fuel point, but that's not the situation anymore, Machine. With the Obers out on the field, I mean, he has the MG34 as well. It's certainly possible for him to hold a fuel point and be out long enough to secure a Panther. Yeah, I don't know.
In this situation, the Command Panther would be a great choice. So then you can also go the STGs on these Obers as well, which would really help him out. Also, then he would have the infiltration tactics. A little bit late now, but if he had them early game and mid game, it would have been giving him cheaper garrison clearing options than just constantly throwing these incendiary grenades, which are a bit more expensive.
Infiltration grenades certainly are a bit of a cheaper option. He switches into a Panther now.
Okay, that's good.
So yeah, regular Panther, not a Command Panther. So still gives him Commander choice option available. That's going to be nice. Looking towards our victory points, 229 for Sotjador, 429 for Cruzz. So Cruzz, even though he didn't have a lot of map control early in the game, Sotjador only really had 2 VPs at any stage to get that bleed going, whereas Cruzz has had triple VP control for a large portion of this mid game.
One thing to mention about this playstyle from Cruzz as well is it basically just means that your opponent wastes this Raketin. 270 manpower that has done absolutely nothing and has also bled him manpower as well. Okay, this is really risky though, getting within Faust range. You will get hit here by a Faust.
And the Panther's just about to finish, and Cruzz should know that if he was looking at the Panzer headquarters. Jackson's going to have to back right away here. The Panther's out on the field. There's a road between it and the Panther. This could be very dangerous, Machine.
He should be able to repair this now with the crit repair.
Far enough away. Yeah, okay, you're going to be going for it.
But the Panther's going in alongside the Raketin as well.
Vehicle crews pulling out their duct tape as fast as possible.
It wasn't even the crit repair.
It's not the crit repair! Oh, no, there's a regular repair. We should have repaired through it. The Jackson fires as well. There's no rifleman squad in the area.
Oh, but the Panther's scared. Panther backs away. Maybe didn't realize the health on the Jackson. Maybe thought it was fully repaired. But at least you don't want to be driving into the unknown. You know, there could be a blob of bazookas nearby.
But the Jackson fired. The Jackson fired.
Yes, if he clicked on it,
vision,
it would have told him the health. But maybe he didn't actually look at it. He just kind of panicked, go, oh crap, Jackson, and drove away.
Certainly is a possibility, and I don't think Cruzz have rifleman field defenses. I mean,
no, he doesn't have any commander.
Yeah, no, none of them have rifleman field defenses. We're just double checking, but no. So you don't have to worry about mines even for Sotjador in terms of chasing with that Panther. Which is certainly normally a consideration when it comes to playing against USF. So many of these high-tier commanders do have access to the rifleman field defenses, and when you've lost map control, you always have to be cautious of driving down a likely mine spot, i.e. the road.
The only thing that would be was the armor company assault engineers, but
which we haven't seen.
Yeah,
so.
frangible. Oh man, but he could lose this Ober squad now, retreating through so much squads of riflemen. Oh. That mortar's been doing.
It's a good thing the deep snow doesn't exist anymore, isn't it? Like, that could have been bad for the Obers.
Well, they were slowed down by the frangible.
They were slowed down by the deep snow around the garrison Machine.
The Obers, you mean, or the riflemen?
No, the riflemen, and the Obers were as well.
Okay, well, the riflemen were slowed by the frangible.
Yeah, they were as well. Yes, yeah, that's why the frangible's thrown. But yeah, I was having a bit of fun with the deep snow. So.
Okay. Having fun with deep snow. Doesn't happen very often.
Not often you hear those words, is it, Machine? No, not often. So double mortar choice from Cruzz. What are you thinking, Machine?
So Cruzz has the option for the P-47 rocket strafe, which is actually really strong. It's a little bit underlooked, just because the commander overall airborne's pretty crappy, but P-47 is really good, which would help him out in the anti-tank department, which he kind of needs, especially if Sotjador ends up going for the King Tiger or the Command Panther. Other than that, mechanized, no. Armor company, maybe, but he's already got the Jackson. But still, a bulldozer's good. He's got the M8 house carriage. I think it's a pretty good choice. Just pretty safe poke against all the infantry, against the wipes, get a fair bit of manpower bleed.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I probably would have liked to see the mortar not built, which in fact has happened now. The mortar's actually been wiped.
Oh.
That probably would have been the ISG, I'm going to guess. I think that was a bit of a direct fire battle. So the ISG actually gets its revenge. The ISG having wiped the mortar having wiped the ISG very early on its lifespan. And all these support weapons being forced off here for Cruzz, and Sotjador begins to regain some map control. We've got the lock-in from Sotjador.
Oh, Sturm Tiger. I like that.
Big fan?
Yeah, because there's just so much infantry. And there's a forward retreat point as well. There's only a Jackson. Jackson's too squishy to really do anything against the Sturm Tiger. You can't chase it down. So as long as you have a Panther or a Rocket nearby the Sturm Tiger, then you're pretty safe.
I agree as well, Mission. I think it's a fantastic choice for Sotjador. Jagdtiger, not on Kolodny, man. Not on your best day you're going to build a Jagdtiger on Kolodny. So going for the Sturm Tiger, especially when you already have the Panther out, you're not in a fantastic fuel position, so the King Tiger isn't as likely an option. Going for a cooling tank is a great choice.
It was either that or a King Tiger.
Yeah, and as I said, yeah, I don't know about going for King Tiger when you don't even have the mechanized up. It still would have been a fair bit of fuel investment.
Yeah, it'd take him a long time to get it. It would be a better choice eventually, but it's a risky play. Whereas Sturm Tiger's only 160 fuel. You get it much earlier on. And, the Kuba went down.
It did. It's actually managing to snipe that and gain itself a little bit of veterancy.
Well, it's actually got 2 kills of infantry. It's been firing the entire time. And obviously, there's downsides to having your tank destroyers firing at infantry. But if you leave it there for long enough, you can get 2 kills.
It's a nice way to deal with sandbags as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's why things like guards and bazookas, and it used to be Shrek Volks. That was really annoying, is when you're behind heavy cover and then they just blow up the sandbags. And you're like, okay, cool. So this could actually be a nade on this Panther. It's next to the Panzer headquarters though, so it should be fine. Again, the Jackson can't dive after a Panther even when the Panzer headquarters is there, because it just does too much damage. The Jackson's too fragile. The Obers still don't have any weapons, though.
It's odd, especially now that the SDGs are no longer an option, not heading towards that Command Panther. We really should just see LMGs selected.
Oh!
Ouch. This is actually a really nice Panzer Headquarters replacement. I'm going to remember this for the next game, so next time I play as OKW and Kolodny, which is not often.
Oh, hang on, we have mechanized locked in. So use the Arty Barrage, it got the Raketten, and it got the MG. It's a really good artillery, but other than that, the command is going to be pretty worthless. Unless he has a specific plan in mind with his withdraw and refit. And the recon's nice too, but you can just recon from the major.
Major recon, yeah, exactly a machine. As I was going to say, there's no huge benefit to going for the recon sweep as opposed to just going for major recon.
It's easier to use because the major has a range.
Yeah.
You can only go so far forward, but on a 1v1 map...
it isn't really a problem. If the major moves a little bit further, probably closer to the church, you should be able to get a decent recon run.
I'm surprised that he didn't... Or maybe that's what he was trying to do with the rifleman, is use the Arty on the Panzer headquarters. Because this Arty, I think it does about 2/3 damage of a Panzer headquarters. So it is the best artillery. I'm pretty sure it's better than time on target against the Panzer headquarters, because there's no chance for it to scatter off. Like the railway, there's a high chance it'll just scatter every shot.
Certainly seems to be the intention here, Machine. Jackson firing at it. There's a bazooka up close and personal as well, but the bazooka can never get into a position where it can actually do anything to the Panzer headquarters.
Yeah. The thing is with the Panzer headquarters though, is you can't manually target it. So you can abuse that by driving in with a Sherman or something durable, and then when the Panzer headquarters is firing at a tank, then the bazookas go in. But if you try and lead with the infantry, you'll just get suppressed and forced away. And actually had a chance there to use the Arty Barrage. He's just a little bit scared of poking in, but if he just gets vision with something, you can call the Arty down and actually just kill that. Panzer headquarters, which would be great for him.
Certainly would. Yeah, I tend to do that in the early game as well. Similar idea, but we'll hold on to similar ideas while the Sturmtiger gets his first shot off.
Sturmtiger definitely larger in size than the howitzer carriage. And we have the stolen mortar, I believe. It's been there. Only one mortar for the US. So there's going to be a Sherman's being built. There's a lot of fuel here for Cruzz. He can also now afford another tank as far as his fuel is concerned once he gets manpower.
Start another tank, he can go for a military truck.
He could do that. Yeah, certainly.
If there's ever a way to round out the pop cap, it's with a military truck machine. What a great unit. For 30 minutes into a game of Company of Heroes 2.
The great thing about... Oh, hang on. The Panther's going in very aggressively here. Where is the Jackson? Oh, the Sturmtiger shot comes through.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh.
He got his own Panther. He killed his own Panther with the Sturmtiger.
Machine hasn't stopped yet.
I've seen that happen in team games.
Yeah.
But when it's your own Panther, that is just... Oh my god.
You can't troll yourself, Sotjador.
It's only fun if you win.
That's not how trolling works. you misjudged the troll, man. It's
That's
it's
unfortunate.
not great. Yeah, it's not great.
I was gonna say the great thing about retro and refit is if your opponent has a King Tiger or just has this much vehicles, this many vehicles, what you can do is you can just sell. I use the word sell. All of your vehicles, pull out 3 Jacksons, you kill all your opponent's armor, and then you sell them and then get 3 or 4 Shermans out. Especially using the 180 mil on this Panzer headquarters takes it down to about 1/3 health. So now it could be followed up by the Sherman and the Jackson.
I'm hoping we see that machine. The Panther's down. Sotjador really doesn't have that much in terms of fuel here. Cruzz has triple VP control as well. Sotjador down to 121 compared to the 376 of Cruzz. Yeah. The Sturmtiger is reconsidering its life choices after sniping its own Panther.
It has reloaded its rocket though. Pretty sure you can fire through that. Oh, is that Sturmtiger within range of the Jackson?
Not quite, I think.
It's firing at something. The Echelon?
Maybe.
Oh wow, only the Echelon. Okay, I guess the Echelon, sure, but...
So maybe it was within range of the Jackson. I was thinking the Jackson was just outside, but it probably was actually just in range.
But now with the Sturmtiger shots blown, then these tanks can play very aggressively, because that's really the only threat that those tanks had is the Sturmtiger rockets. Sotjador is pretty far off getting another Panther.
Yeah, and Cruzz looks like he's heading for the Panzer headquarters machine. Panzer headquarters on half health.
And if it wasn't for that Sturmtiger shot, I don't think we would have seen Cruzz do this. Because it's just too risky.
Yeah.
Even then, a Coh2 rocket could kill this Jackson.
Should be one more shot onto the Panzer headquarters. Maybe a light breeze after that.
Oh, he missed.
Oh, misses. Okay.
Well, the Sherman, yeah. It's strange that he would go in with the Jackson. You should really go in with the Sherman. It has more health and more armor, so you can definitely tank up those flak shells. But the Panzer headquarters is destroyed, so now there is actually no tanks available here apart from the Sturmtiger, and he obviously already has one. You can't get 2 of them, fortunately. Pretty sure you could on launch, back when Sturmtiger was on tier 4. I still have PTSD nightmares of Sturmtiger backing away into the cover of a Pack 43, and you try and dive it. And like, well, there's a Pack 43 there. I can't do that. Yeah. That was so bad.
Not a good time. So I suppose a saving factor here for Sotjador. The Sturmtiger wipes all of the...
Oh, I guess nothing.
Okay, gets... No, yeah, the major cancels the retreat point and the mortar comes back as well. So very quick reactions coming in from Cruzz. So Sotjador tries to wipe all the inventory here and maybe make something happen. But with Cruzz on 372 VPs, it seems unlikely that Sotjador comes back.
So we have both the mortars now in the hands of the US. And... Cruzz doesn't have that much infantry left though. He actually really doesn't have much at all. A rifle squad and a captain, that's about it. But he has no shortage of vehicles. This is where airborne might have been a good choice in that kind of late game situation where you've lost all your infantry and you want to replace them with something better than just riflemen. You can get the airborne or rangers if you have cavalry.
Which are fine at vet 0, so...
And... what else did he have? It was armor, wasn't it?
He had
so
armor, yeah.
I think this is probably just going to be a triple cap on favor of Cruzz. Sotjador does have a lot of vetted infantry though. That is definitely a thing.
Very nice unit preservation. With the exception of one-shotting his own Panther.
Yeah. Apart from that. But I think it's just going to be too much manpower bleed here from the Sherman, the M8, and probably another Sherman once he has a bit more manpower. Wow, did he just wipe a squad of Volks? Yeah, he did.
So,
it was a vet 4 squad of Volks. That's pretty brutal. And see, that'll happen sooner or later. There's 2 Shermans here, of course. Oh wait, did he?
Hell of a lot of white potential.
I think he refitted a Jackson for the Sherman.
Yes, yeah, we did see it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, so that's why he has 2 Shermans. Yeah, because once he killed the Panzer headquarters, because he doesn't actually have to kill the Sturm Tiger, and even if he tried to, the Sturm Tiger is just so durable.
Yeah.
What you can do with the USF vehicle crew is tell them to repair the vehicle and then queue up the command to re-enter the vehicle by holding shift and then issuing that command. This way the crew will re-enter the vehicle as soon as repairs are completed. There are 2 main benefits to doing this. Because the crew jump in the vehicle as soon as repairs are completed, it minimises the chance that something bad happens to them, such as
What? What happened? Machine, we missed something crucial.
And the Sturm Tiger gets 1 Sherman?
And the Jackson's out here, the M8's really low. It must have been an abandoned somewhere else on the map. The Jackson actually takes another shot at the howitzer carriage. Is Sotjador gonna come back into this? What happened? What?
I think I'll have to re-record the clip of the Jackson getting captured.
Yeah.
Maybe he was repairing it somewhere.
And then the crew got wiped?
Yeah,
So
that happens occasionally.
Yeah.
Sometimes you oh no, he's gonna lose his Sherman too. Why did he try and go for the kill with the Sherman?
Yeah. I'm not sure why the Jackson backed away there.
The rifle squad he was scared of. Yeah, sometimes when you try and repair one of your vehicles out in the open, you can come around a corner and just instantly gun down 2 models of that repairing crew. And then they can't get back in the tank because they need a minimum of 3 crew, so then you can just steal the vehicle. So, yeah, there's a Jackson
that's
now.
what it must have been, because we were watching everything important. We were watching the Sturmtiger, we were watching the Shermans, and then the Jackson must have been chilling somewhere and had its crew snipe. Go figure. Because it wasn't a Sturmtiger shot, we saw all of the Sturmtiger shots. And like,
The Sturm Tiger shot, it got a Sherman, almost the second one too, actually. And now Cruzz is in a bad spot. Because his opponent has a Jackson and he doesn't. Because the Jackson is going to completely rip apart these Shermans. Because the problem with the Jackson, I mean, for the most part, is it doesn't consistently penetrate. But when you're versing allied tanks that don't have Krupp steel, then you can actually penetrate pretty consistently. And it's also quite vulnerable, but there isn't really any anti-tank. And if there was AT guns, this is a little bit too deep here with the Sturm Tiger. You can get circled. But the Jackson will just move in for support, so it's not a big deal. Wow. This Jackson will vet up pretty quickly.
Yeah, it won't take long against the Allied tanks. We haven't seen the new and improved Allied tanks against Allied tanks as of yet.
What?
We haven't seen a captured Jackson as of yet. So we haven't seen how the new and improved Jackson fares versus Allied armor.
Well, it's just extra acceleration and range, sight range. So
Sight
it's not
range.
really
I
a
guess
big
it doesn't
buff.
really matter, does it?
Nothing
Yeah.
like
Nothing
the Firefly,
applies.
the SU-85. It's a very small buff where then the other tank destroyers were pretty huge.
Yeah, I suppose it applies less given it's like...
So,
I think I should be able to back away here. There are plenty of MGs covering the area. Another Jackson's going to be built now, but I feel as though the Stormtaker should be repaired by the time that occurs.
only 58 pop cap VPs though for Sotjador, and Sotjador's lost 2 squads of Volks, so he no longer has an infantry advantage, and we see Cruzz has rebuilt his own infantry while also having 2 mortars. So this game is being pretty back and forwards. But the Obers are vet 4, and they get really OP at vet 4 because they suppress, which is kind of retarded, but at least they still can get wiped by the Shermans, which is kind of... Not a reason why late game US is kind of weird, yeah, I see a vehicle crew here without a Jackson. Because OKW infantry can scale very well with their veterancy. Not so much Volks, but mainly just things like Falchims and Obers and stuff, just completely outscale riflemen. But then you have Shermans and M8s that can just one-shot full squads of vet 5. So often that late game can come down to getting cheesy squad wipes with a Sherman more so than actual infantry play.
Yeah, and okay, so Sotjador doesn't really have an. He's going for another squad of bolts. I really like that. He doesn't have an effective way to hold VPs or force squads off. There's something. I mean, it's sure it's a problem, but it's only a problem, you know, every minute or so that you get it. Not again! Not again! Not again!
Why is he
Not
repairing
again!
there? He was suppressed, so I don't think you can capture while suppressed. Why would he repair his Sherman over there? That's a terrible spot to repair a Sherman. He tries to arty it. You always got to repair your vehicles out of sight range, or at least have something in front, or have it behind a shot blocker. You should never have a squad repairing out in the open. Jackson v Jackson. Now it's abandoned again. Yeah, that Jackson from Sotjador should get the kill, but there's actually a smoke there. Maybe that was from a mortar. I'm not sure what that was from.
I think it was from Sherman smoke, wasn't it? Or
from what Sherman? There's no Shermans left.
Sotjador's Sherman. Didn't it smoke off as it was retreating?
Oh, I don't know.
Pretty sure it did. So yeah. So the Jackson of Sotjador survives.
So there's a Jackson, and there should be a Sherman now.
Yeah.
The riflemen are going to be chasing this one down. They actually have a bazooka, so they can kill this Jackson, and maybe even the wrecked Sherman, but it's getting suppressed by the MG. He's pinned, so he couldn't get the bazooka shot off on either of those vehicles. So the half-health Jackson, though, is going to be hunting down some Axis American tanks. It's Lend-Lease, right? But to the wrong side.
Yeah. Man, double MGs are going to shred this.
Oh,
the gunner actually dodges their machines.
Sturm Tiger gets one of the vehicle crews. Yeah. If only he was armored company, man, he could have the Thompsons, and it'd be fine. The mortar could actually destroy this Sherman too.
MG wants to stay in the fight.
The problem with captured American vehicles is they can't use the crew repair. Well, they don't have vehicle crews at all.
Raketen's going to be refacing. Main gun destroyed on the Jackson. Doesn't look like the second. Oh, it does actually come through. The Raketen. Oh no, I think it was that the Jackson of shot?
No, it was the Raketen.
Yeah. Ends up sniping that down. Looking towards our VPs here. We're 41 minutes in. 58 VPs for Sotjador. 258 for Cruzz.
This is getting ridiculous now.
This is a sane game. When you're using your major as a combat squad, you know the game is getting insane. Currently looking towards a triple cap for Sotjador. Another Jackson going to be built here as well. And at the moment, Sotjador has a Stromtiger, a Jackson, and potentially a Sherman as well.
You can go for King Tiger. He's got his mechanized.
Yeah.
He actually building a Panzer too. He's only got 58 pop cap VPs, so he's a little bit concerned about that, I think.
Yeah, and not really a lot of combat effective squads anymore here. He's down to, you know, the Sturms, the Volsa, and the Obers. So going for the Panzer II will give him the ability to just leave a Panzer II on a VP, potentially try and hold that one against kind of more AT coming out from Cruzz. Cruzz also doesn't have an ambulance, something else to mention.
Yeah, that's true. Did he lose it to the Sturm Tiger?
Yeah, and he did lose it to the Sturm Tiger, but yeah, it was just, he hasn't rebuilt that one. Maybe he hasn't had a chance to. Really should though. Invest the manpower. This game's nuts.
It's a little bit upsetting.
I'm just glad how esports ready the game is. Like, it's my favorite thing.
Well, yeah, you can talk about esports ready all much you want, but I mean that was completely Cruzz's fault.
Oh, it was
that he
Cruzz's
repaired.
fault. Yeah. Cruzz did not play that intelligently. Please, the judge did not recommend you repair your tanks.
I really
under MG fire.
Yeah, I want to know where this Jackson died. And we'll probably watch it after the game. We'll just flip through it and see where it was and report
I would like
it.
to have a look.
So there's a Panzer II, a Sturm Tiger, and there's a Jackson and a Sherman.
Another wipe. Too many tanks, machine. In this case, 4 many tanks. There are a lot of them. One Jackson on the field. It's got a lot of work to do. Cruzz doesn't have access to another artillery, so I don't think there's anything that can save him in this game.
Oh, gets the mortar with the Sturm Tiger. Now it's going to be Jackson flanking the Jackson, or at least trying to.
Yeah, Sherman in the front as well, going to be taking up some damage. Actually finds the penetration, so Sotjador's Jackson should win this one. Yep, easy. That's the last of the AT, goes down for Cruzz.
See, that's how you counter allied tank destroyers.
Yeah.
Is you get a Sherman to soak up damage for your Jackson,
yeah.
So then you can kill your opponent's Jackson.
So easy.
So if you ever struggle with killing allied tank destroyers, that's how.
Now you know.
I
Yeah.
think that's going to be game over here.
Look, yeah, Cruzz's entire army's being wiped. And we were unsure, man. We were unsure, Mr. Machine,
Actually,
how Sotjador was going to come back into the game.
I'm very upset here because the captured vehicles can't use the heat rounds. I mean, the Jackson has the heat vap, obviously,
Yeah.
but the Sherman can't use it, and the Jackson can't at Vet 0.
Man, I'm sad that you can't refit and recrew them, just like send them back to Allied lines. It's like, can I have some fuel and stuff,
Yeah,
man?
I want
Do
him
you
a
mind?
Kentucky.
I'll give you the Sherman back, but do you mind slinging us a couple of jerry cans of fuel so I can pump up this King Tiger and get it ready to go? And with an explosive shot, we should see the end of the game. Here we go.
There is an M1. Aw.
Yeah, I think it's all over Machine. Oh well.
I mean,
Cruzz needs to.
Where do we even
repair
start?
tanks.
Yeah.
I want to see where the Jackson died. That's where we
Right.
should start. Is fast forwarding this game and finding out where the Jackson was taken down.
well, we'll end the video here, and I'll just
Yeah.
edit in
Yeah.
the clip of the Jackson
Yeah.
being
Do
stolen
that.
or whatever that was. Yeah, I mean, it was actually a pretty interesting playstyle from Cruzz. You could tell that he was trying not to play meta. I do that occasionally as well. Is you know what? I really feel like doing something other than Pershing and Calliope,
Yeah.
and then trying to go airborne and then losing because airborne sucks. But so much infantry, and I think it's important to take away that it worked well because he was versing OKW that didn't go for a Panzer II, whereas again against Wehrmacht they'd probably fail pretty hard because they just Panzer will get rushed out really early on, and the scout car would be a bit of a problem. But otherwise, yeah, that was a weird game, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
We appreciate it. We hope you're as weird as we are by that game.